whole process. Yeah, so I think for me, it will just be brief. First is to appreciate, I think, the work that you've done, Madam PS, in trying to transform the TVET sector. I think the transition to CBET is quite impressive. Now, if you go to the ground, you can be able to see what CBET is doing on the ground. And I'm proud to say that, first of all, I did introduce myself. My name is Gideon Muringa, Senior TVET Advisor at GIZ, working on the dual project. GIZ was the first to pilot CBET even before dual. And one of the institutions was Kabete. It had the first students on instrumentation and control. PS Desai knows that, and the Kabete team. So the very first graduates of CBET, when you talk about 2017 back there, were actually supported by GIZ, and Kabete was one of the institutions. And therefore, as you're talking about Kabete being a pioneer institution, it has also become a pioneer of CBET before. I think we need to appreciate that. Yeah, so I think the progress that has been made with CBET, and now we are moving into dual, where we are bringing the industries very closer. You could hear the passion from my friend, KNCCI CEO. The industry is always willing and ready to work with us. They have the resources, they have the finances. Sometimes I see emails move around requesting for partnership and support. We were just brainstorming here with the CEO, and you're saying some of these industries can even take platinum sponsorships in some of your events, but we have to bring them closer so that it becomes a relationship that we establish with them. I'm glad to report, Madam PS, that these principals have been very, very supportive on the dual TVET implementation part. We do so many industry sensitization meetings, and they are there. If I try to look at everyone here, Mr. Kivuti, they have been in many industry meetings that we do. And in fact, some of the time I overhear an industry person say, if the principal is in this meeting, then this is a very serious thing. We need to commit. I have overheard that. So quite a lot of them are participating in this. And this is actually really creating a different impression also to the industry, to realize that we can be able to work and collaborate with them. So for us, dual is working. We are even having more commitments of slots, and the principals here will confirm that in some of the institutions we are unable to fill the positions that have been provided by the industries. And quite impressive partnerships. I look at Nachu, for example, they are doing something with Mudokinju, and they have already even gotten someone from, I think it's Romania, if I'm not wrong, who is already ready. He was trying to wonder, is there an industry or an institution that trains painters? And they are already keen to partner with them. And they have already, we are dueling their program on painters alone. So what does that mean? I mean, the transition in terms of jobs means, I think Caroline mentioned this, there are jobs that are merging, there are others that are becoming more specialized as we progress with CBET. If you look at, for example, now if your car breaks down and it's a 2025, 2024, 2023 Range Rover, if it breaks down, the person that you want to fix that car must have three kind of skills: the mechanical, the electrical and electronics, and the computerized system, because either one of them and the three communicate to each other. So it will not be an issue, wacha niite mtu ya waya. Anaitwa nani? Kawaya, si ndio? Wacha niite Kawaya. Kawaya akikataa anasema wacha tuite yule mwingine anaitwa nani? Tuite mechanic. Now they have added another component of the computerized part of it. So it could be an aspect of the sensors. So that has generated a mechatronics expert. Now, when you look at the building, we used to do a lot of building and construction. Now, if you go to a building site, kuna mtu wa kufunga chuma, kuna mtu wa plumber, kuna mtu wa kufanya nini? Formwork, kuna mtu wa gypsum peke yake, kuna mtu wa kupaint peke yake. Like all these are different skills, which we will be lying to ourselves to kisema we want to train all these guys to have all the skills. Even some of us here, perhaps who are doing construction, if somebody comes to you as a fundi and says, I can do that, I can do kila kitu, what will you say? Hapana, sidio? You can see. So we already know this. It means the aspect of specialization and mastery of skills, which is a key component of CBET, is actually coming up right now. And this is an area that we need to embrace. So I think as I conclude on this, I appreciate the very good programs that are being done here, but I think it has been mentioned that quite new courses are coming up, which, as we are looking ahead, several areas that demand our collective attention to further strengthen Kenya's TVET system. One is on curriculum alignment. Now we have new areas, for example, green technology. We have areas such as green construction practices. How are institutions taking this up? And I'm glad a lot of the institutions are already national polytechnics. It means you have a legal mandate to be able to develop curricula. How are you taking advantage of this? I look at areas like data analytics, cybersecurity. We are moving digital, but there are other things that are associated or other courses that are coming with that. How are we embracing that? I'm looking at areas like robotics, which some of the institutions are already there. Smart manufacturing systems and mechatronics. Some are there, we need to get there. Multimedia areas, multimedia production, animation, all aspects around the creative industry. Fashion and design. I see a lot of drones used in events, even in the local village. How many of our institutions are training on drone technology? Those are some of the things we need to ask ourselves. And I see them in the village. When you look at agriculture technology, areas in terms of agriculture machinery operation and maintenance, agribusiness management, value-added processing, how are we incorporating these courses? So this is good to have, but let us also, and the good thing the industries already know, because some of them are already advanced. I've always said before, if we are not careful, industries are starting their own training center. In my own understanding, industries, their core business is not to start a training center. If they want to train a skill, they should come to Kabete and say, look, we want some specialized skills in this area. Can we work together so that you become a center of excellence? And that's why for me, a center of excellence is not a destination, it's a journey. It is not one that you put in a brand and say we are a center of excellence. After 1 year, you should be reevaluated to know whether you still maintain the status or you don't maintain the status. So that's all I wanted to say now. My final conclusions. Skills don't die. Skills, if all of us could have a skill, perhaps it will address injury and in this world. We will not be, when you have a skill, you don't retire. Some of us use old men more than 70 years to do some work, wherever they are. So if we can be able to embrace this and we sell this agenda and we become the first people to advocate for this, I am sure we'll be able to transform. I look at even sometimes in fightings within workplaces, because of promotion, you backbite other people because you feel your job is, you feel your job is not secure, right? But if you have something else that you can do, a skill that only belongs to you, that means it will only die when you die. So that we'll always have a plan B of what we can do in life. It will solve a lot of problems that we have in this country. Thank you so much. Asante sana.